Hello, I am live. I'll wait a few minutes while people hop on, although I'm a bit tardy. 3 minutes. 3 minutes late. That's okay. Okay, some people are joining. Hello, we are live in New Zealand. What area are we in? You guys could come in.
Keti.
Keti.
Yeah.
Oh, I was pronouncing it Kati.
That's the correct pronunciation, actually. Kati.
Oh, really?
Kati.
Then why do you say Kati?
Kati.
Okay, so we are here. We already had a few questions come in earlier as I posted on my story. Hello. And so we'll get to those, but while we just kind of wait for people to come on, I have some exciting news. We're going to give away a honey jar that is actually coming exactly from this hive. So participate, ask questions, and then I'll choose at random who could sort of win a honey jar. And what's really unique about this is it might be honey that's called Purakawa. Okay, so this one, it's not sold in the States either, but again, I'm not sure who's going to win. We could be from Australia or we could be from Japan. I'm not even sure, but it's most likely going to be this honey. We won't know until we pull the trays off and actually go through a testing process, which they do every single day when it is harvested, or I guess that's not the extract. Okay. So I'm very excited to share this as a giveaway. And then we'll also give you a manuka honey too as well, a bees wrap, and a little wooden spoon too. So very exciting giveaway this live. So what are we going to do today? We're going to talk all about manuka honey. So first things first, and if one of you guys want to answer, what's really the difference between
Traits in it, health benefits and everything. There's a whole lot of testing regime to find out what manuka you've got in there. But the higher the manuka, the higher the MGO, the better the honey is for you.
From a health perspective, what does that mean? Like it has antibacterial properties?
Yeah, antibacterial properties.
Antiviral properties.
Yeah.
And then, actually, great story here too is one of my friends told me, recently I was visiting California, and so one of my friends told me she got a 3rd-degree burn, well, first of all, her first mistake was going to Starbucks and getting hot tea. You all know how I feel about Starbucks, but that was her first mistake. Anyway, she gets hot tea and she's in an Uber and they turn aggressively. And so the hot tea pours on her and she gets like a 3rd-degree burn. It was terrible. So what she did was she took real, UMF, manuka grade honey and put it on her skin every day. And they said that, when she went to the doctor, she did have to get a round of antibiotics and all that, but they did say that she wouldn't be able to essentially wear a 2-piece swimsuit anymore because it was it could be really, like, the skin could be really fragile and she could get more burned, more injured, and even just the scarring in general, she didn't want that scarring. So anyways, she put manuka honey on it every single day for months, and it's literally gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So magical health benefits, not only topically, but also internally too. So that there's a lot of differences in manuka and local. And so this isn't to say though that people who maybe consume local either is like, it's actually good to kind of have that balance of both manuka and local.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
All
are you guys
honey's good.
ready to step into the hive? Let's see. Here we go. Whoops. I'm going to bring you into this hive here. Okay, let's see. I'm just making sure that this is proper. Okay, good. Check it out. Look at how much fun I've been having today. Isn't this rad? I can sit here and watch these guys all day long. So tell us a little bit of what's going on here. You guys have had these bees in their hives for how long? Since November?
Yes, these ones were split in November and have been here since November, growing bigger and stronger and collecting lots of honey.
Yep.
I can show you some honey.
Yep. I'm sure you guys want to see some honey, right? Okay. Oh, there we go. It's like turning on me. There we go. Look at that. Check that out. Okay, that is delicious. And so what's happening here is they're getting nectar and pollen from what flowers or what trees are we working with around here?
So this honey that was gathered maybe a month ago was from Pūtakawa honey, Pūtakawa trees,
Okay.
which is the honey you're about to give away. So I'd
Okay.
say majority of this will be Pūtakawa, a few wildflowers and a few pastoral clovers and stuff like that too.
Right.
But majority of that will be Pūtakawa.
Amazing.
We hope so.
And yeah, and there are some manuka trees around us too, but this site is a little bit more special. This is like more unique to New Zealand, so which makes this just, again, this honey really special. And I've just been learning so much here about bees and, you know, not only about bees in general, but also just the education around, you know, how the process is. So when you drop the hives off here, what happens? You guys come in and you check every day, and what's the whole sort of beekeeping process? A day in the life.
A day in the life. So, yeah, we dropped these off here, and we knew with how well the Pūtakawa was flowering that they were going to do amazingly.
Yep.
I think 4 days later we come back, and there was just so much honey come in. The hive had grown, it had boomed. And yeah, we just come back every few days to check how it's going on, what it needs. They fill up. As this gets full and fuller, we'll put another box on, and they'll gather more and keep growing.
And so then when do you pull them out for extraction?
When the flowers stop, like now they've stopped flowering and the honey has stopped coming in, so then we'll pull frames for extraction there. Then.
Right.
So we could pull this frame now if we want to do a box now and do an extraction on it and get it tested.
Yep. Wow. I actually also saw a bee birth today, which was really, I had no idea that I wanted that on my bucket list, but now once you see a bee birth, it was incredible. So we saw that today. We discovered the queen today. And so I'm going to release a YouTube video on just all the, you know, the experience that I have had over here in New Zealand from BeeNZ. And so I will put down in the comments below of the company exactly what it is in just a second, once I can get my gloves off and maybe not get stung doing it. But that's where I'm at. So I'm going to produce that on YouTube in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. But I know I've had a couple of questions from the audience too, is in regards to manuka. So maybe Kate, can you tell us what sort of questions have come in? And David over here too he's also one of the owners of BeeNZ, and so we've got a crew. You can't really see us in our costumes, but or beekeeping outfits, whatever you guys want to call them. But we'll answer some questions for you.
So, do you ever use manuka honey as first aid?
Do we ever use manuka honey as first aid? Well, I mean, I guess you heard the story of my friend using it for a third-degree burn, so the answer from an experiential standpoint, then yes. But what about in your experience?
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely.
There's actually medical bandages with manuka on for healing of wounds and other sores. So.
Yep. Is that more of a sort of a Kiwi thing where it was evolutionarily speaking, like the Kiwis just sort of use manuka as that standpoint, or is that more of a newer modern approach, or what?
I think it started off probably a little bit like a Kiwi thing, but then as it proved itself more and more, I think it became, far wider spread.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We definitely use it a lot. Any cuts or any infections, we just put a bit of honey on it each night.
Yeah.
So heaps, yeah.
I know in the vet or pet world, there's a lot of that. You can use it on their coats and things like that for sure. But then also from a human's perspective too, in the jiu-jitsu community, there's plenty who sing its praises for staph infections and all of that. So yes, for first aid. What else do we have? And I'll look on here too.
How do we know if it's good quality or what isn't?
How do we know? Okay, so maybe, David, this might be a question for you. So when people are going to maybe the grocery store or a health food store, what are some of the specific, maybe check marks that you would look for in finding a proper manuka or healthy quality manuka honey?
It would be the UMF registration. That would be the first thing we'd look for.
Okay.
That's very creditable, and that's the worldwide registration, as far as we can see, is the unique manuka factor.
Okay, so he said the unique manuka factor, and I'm just repeating that again because maybe you're picking up on my mic now, but okay, so UMF factor, and obviously we have that over at BeeNZ, so I'm sure you've seen in a lot of my stories, and over in the link in my bio, if you go to my favorites and click on BeeNZ, you'll see not only do they have a ton of information on the website, but about UMF and sort of learning about that and what that label looks like. Okay, so what else? Is there anything else specific to look for, or maybe perhaps red flags on the contrary?
No, it all depends where people are at. Like as those numbers rise from 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, that's the purity level rising, the actual manuka factor rising in each of those counts. So it all depends what they want to do with that honey. You know, if it is going to be more for like a burn or a wound care, you'll be starting to look at the higher numbers. And if it's more ingestion and eating, I always believe that 10 plus on, 5, 10 plus on, they're all great honeys for you.
Yeah. So would you say maybe the higher you go UMF, it's more of a, you know, not only a unique situation, but also the less frequency, where maybe if it was like a 5 to 10, then maybe you would cycle it in more often as a...
Probably, probably so.
Yeah.
The price point would make that.
Right, true. Okay, what else do we have?
We just had a question. Is a higher UMF number always better?
Most definitely.
Is a higher UMF number always better? Is that what you said? Yep. Was that a question that came in the live or just from... Okay, great. I'm happy you're looking at that. Any from before, from our previous two?
From that, the whole UMF scale is confusing. Can you simplify it?
David, let's simplify UMF.
How do I do that? You want to tackle it? No.
I don't mind.
Yeah, Kate, come on in.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Kate. She is also a team member of the BeeNZ. So let me also tell you why I love this company so much. It's family owned, and you know, even if you may not be blood related, they still treat you as family. And so even myself too, I've been so grateful to be here with just like with everybody here. It's like you really want to support those that are just through and through their core, just really special humans. And so yeah, so you see that not only in their process of personal relationships, but also, you know, just the outcome of their products. And so I'm really grateful to be here. And then also just, you know, grateful to support BeeNZ. And so Kate is here with us too as part of the, I'm going to call us all a family because I feel like family here too. So part of the family. Anyways, go ahead, Kate, let's answer.
So it is such a confusing system. So you have all these different numbers. You see MGO, which is quite frequently used when regarding the gradings of UMF or manuka honey, sorry. And the MGO is basically taken and it's put into equivalent of a UMF number. So the MGO numbers look really high, but higher doesn't always mean better in the case of MGO, because MGO isn't, there's no way to certify it. That's why we use the UMF grading, because it's a company that they look at the results of the honey and then put it into their own terms and give it a grading. So basically your UMF 5 plus is your lowest grade of UMF grade manuka honey, and that's what we call our everyday honey. Your UMF 10 plus is your kind of more superfood. That's what you would add to your smoothies and that sort of thing. Your UMF 15 plus is what you would use for your colds and flus, that sort of thing. And then your UMF 20 is, we call it like our first aid kit hero, where it that's for your, you know, topical use, burns, cuts, and yeah, really severe colds and flus and that sort of thing, sore throats.
Yeah, so it's just, yeah, from a UMF standpoint, the higher you go, the more powerful that works as like a sort of almost first aid, right? So it's like 5 plus is your sort of like, you know, every day has unique qualities and health benefits as it relates to local honey. But then also the higher up you go, the more like sort of first aid. You
So
know.
the more potent the qualities are in the manuka honey when you go higher up in the grades.
Right. And so when, as compared to MGO that you guys might see on the shelves too, you have things such as 300 plus and all these things which look like, wow, that's a large number. I must be getting, you know, some of these, the benefits of what might be similarities to UMF. However, that's not the case. So there's really strict rules that go around having that UMF certification, and really like stringent markers too to follow by. And so what you guys do as well too is you test the honey after every extraction to make sure that you meet those grades.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can't put it in a jar and call it whatever we want.
Yeah.
We do have to meet those specific testing guidelines.
Right.
And make sure that what we're putting in the jar is your high quality manuka honey.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then speaking of testings, right? So we did have a question on there too, talking about glyphosate and hearing that it's crazy over there. And I know there's some narratives out there saying that manuka honey is something that is like, oh, you know, 100% has traces of glyphosate in there coming from New Zealand. Well, I guess that's where manuka comes from anyways, but which we want to debunk, because what I'm passionate about too is not to give it just like a general name of saying, or a general statement of saying that all manuka honey has glyphosate, which isn't the case, right? There's definitely some detail that's involved, and a lot of it does come from your producers and quality producers and things like that. So David, do you want to speak a little bit on the glyphosate and why through your testings too that there aren't any markers or traces from that?
We work very closely with the farm owners in the places we go. We try to put ourselves in places that we're not going to pick this sort of glyphosate up, and we manage that hand in hand with the actual landowner. It's a tricky one. I just hope that very soon we don't actually have glyphosate at all, and I think they're working towards that. I'm hoping we're working towards that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's in the way you manage, and it's in your testing regime as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the important thing too, is just like managing the land that you do place these hives on. And so knowing that, you know, sort of the perimeter, and I remember, how far does a bee travel again?
It can fly up to 2 Ks.
2 kilometers.
Yes.
So by it flying at that distance, you know, you just want to be aware where you carefully put your hives, which is, you know, what these guys have done, and you know, partnered up with certain landowners that also maybe prioritize and respect the land. So is it true that more like the manuka that's more in the north is safer from glyphosate than in the south, or?
I couldn't say that.
Okay.
Because it depends on that arable land. If they're cropping really close to you, that's when you're in high risk.
Yep.
And that's what you tend to try and stay away from.
Okay.
I'm sure north and south has its issues, but that all comes down again to management.
Okay. Once again, management. What other questions do we have, Kate? Yeah, and if there's any live questions right now, and also if you want to just tag BeeNZ in there, because like I said, my gloves, just to show them which company specifically we're here at.
Can you put it in hot water? Does it lose its benefits?
That's right. So what is hive temperature?
It's about 32 to 33.
Yeah.
Okay.
Runs
so
real warm.
But of course,
that's
sorry
Celsius.
Also under a tin lid, it would be a lot hotter.
That's Celsius, yeah.
Okay, so what?
About 89.
89 Fahrenheit. Okay. So give or take a few degrees, I imagine. I mean, anytime that you cook, process, you know, or it gets introduced to the elements, air, water, like there's some sort of degrading of the nutrients that happen. So I think safe is keeping it within, you know, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, as maybe a couple of degrees here and there, where then you start to lose its benefits, right? You don't want to. So what I do is to be more mindful of preserving the nutrients. Is if I want to cook things and add things to, like a, you know, I did an orange glazed ribs the other day, or a honey orange glazed ribs the other day, and I'll cook the ribs and I'll cook the orange juice and things like that. And then once it cools, when I portion out my just my meals, I'll drizzle honey in when it's still warm, but it's not heat or super hot where like then, you know, the temperature increases, just to, you know, do my best and be intentional with trying to preserve those nutrients. But I think if you're putting it in like boiling hot tea or boiling coffee, then yeah, you're gonna lose the benefits of that
over time.
over time.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is that over the length of time, where I think like the duration also matters of how much nutrients is degraded to as well. So I guess, and nobody's taking like shots of coffee because it's too hot too. So I would just maybe wait till it cools down a little bit. It could be actually a nice way to enjoy coffee or tea when the volume of tea and coffee is not that much, and you still can do a tablespoon of manuka once it's cooled down a little bit. So that's cool. What other questions?
I mean, there's the one about, is it safe for infants? If you want to cover that one.
That's right. Is it safe for infants? So I think manuka and honey, just in general, is they don't have their immune system can't really handle the spores that could create, I guess, botulism, and so that could be sometimes life-threatening. So a older, I don't know why I want to say more wiser digestive system, because I guess that's what it is, can handle that those sort of spores in there. So I would recommend, and as it's out there too as well, that consuming honey about after a year, their first birthday or something like that is safest. What else do we have?
Why does it have a different taste?
Why does it have a different taste? Well, why does white wine and red wine have different tastes? So tell us about, I guess, you know.
It would be tree location orientated, wouldn't it? The different tastes. So you might have a different sort of tasting manuka in the middle of the North Island versus the top of the North Island, South Island. It's really wherever that climate is.
Yeah.
I feel that's how the tastes come through. Is that what you guys would say?
Maybe age of tree too and
Yeah,
things.
that's true. Yeah.
Age of tree, that's interesting. So how would you describe the taste of manuka to somebody who's never tasted manuka before, and maybe even from different grades, like the 5 all the way up to, I guess there's 29 UMF, which I didn't even know existed until I came here, but I thought it was just up to 20. But how would you describe the taste?
I would say it starts off mildish, and then as it goes up in those numbers, it gets a little stronger and a little stronger. That's my palate.
Yep.
I'm not sure about you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not bitter, but it's definitely got a bite to it. You can taste, yeah.
What kind of a
lovely.
bite though? Like what can we relate it to? Like it almost does taste medicinal, but like good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. Like when I say bite, I like it's a good bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to explain the taste.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
a good
boring
bite.
honey.
Yeah,
Forgive
it's
me,
like the whiskey of honeys.
Yeah, it's sort of every time it's quite exciting. The tastes are just, really nice.
Yeah, and I love it too. Just over the past few years that I've, been kind of collaborating and working with you guys too, and just, my palate has just sort of not accepted, but discovered just new notes, I guess, is that the right language to use for this? And just different taste factors, and it's really cool how just your taste buds evolve too as well, and then also creativity comes, and then I start to apply it to different recipes that you never discover, which, speaking of, we're going to be doing a cooking show, isn't that right, on YouTube, and we're going to get some puppies today, and I learned that puppies are mussels.
The type of mussels.
And the thing here to do is to put manuka honey on mussels, and it's a very simple recipe, and I'm very stoked to try it. So this is a really just again, cool way to eat and consume honey, and then also enjoy it in really different recipes. So I'm very excited about that. What else do we have here?
What are the medicinal benefits of the trees they're using to make honey?
What are the
medicinal benefits of the manuka tree?
Tree.
The tree?
Yeah.
They actually subtract manuka oil from manuka manuka trees, and that oil goes into like essential oil type of things. We've been doing a bit of work with manuka oil, and a bit of lemongrass. Yeah, a few other bits and bobs, and
Bits and bobs.
bits and bobs.
I'm going to have a reference dictionary at the end of this for you.
Sorry about that.
It's like, what are the Kiwi terms? Bits and bobs. Tell us about
I
this.
can't tell all about the bits and bobs.
Okay.
And that, we're finding that pretty cool, eh? Like as far as a oil goes, I
It's a
think
great
manuka
essential
oil's
oil.
amazing.
Yeah.
As a product. So yeah, if it's medicinal, the question they're asking,
Yep.
I believe very much so.
Yeah. I guess what other like health benefits, qualities of manuka, right? We already talked about. So let's talk about, and this is not to say that, oh, it treats acne or it, treats a bacterial infection response. So speaking from personal experience, I did overcome an intestinal bacterial issue, right? It was pancolitis, inflammation of the entire gut. Like, of course, like you go to the doctors and they're like, pancolitis, inflammation of everything. I'm like, what does that mean? Anyways, manuka honey, like it really was, it was my security blanket throughout that entire time because I felt like that really, really healed my intestinal tract. So this isn't to make any statements about that it's going to heal something, but it could be beneficial for things like that. If you're having some gut issues or inflammation, antibacterial, staph infection, so topically too as well, acne, I've heard many people come, report back that their skin has improved incredibly, and that's by consistent accumulation of applying manuka or ingesting manuka too as well. What else? Is there any, like, I know for pets and their coats are really good, but what else have you experienced or heard?
What are some of the ranges of products that do actually have manuka oils in them? It's like lip balms and things like that in there.
Yeah.
Lip balms.
Products with like eczema, you can use your manuka oil.
Eczema.
And manuka honey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of those antibacterial properties.
Right.
That helps kind of regenerate the cells in the skin too.
Yeah. So many reports on that. Yeah, on skin. If you're dealing with any skin issues.
Like your digestive health, your oral
Yep.
health.
Right. Digestive, oral, so microbiome, all of those benefits. What else do we have?
Someone asked to see the queen.
The queen. Well, we have to go looking. So I don't know if you guys. All right, we have
One of the boys
beekeepers
can go
on
find
it.
one, yeah.
You guys.
It might take 10 minutes.
Ask and you shall receive. Might take 30 seconds or 10 minutes. But hopefully, if by the end of this live, we will share that with. How many bees are in the hive? Oh, we were just trying to
Work
figure that out today.
Well,
Go ahead, tell us.
At the moment, we're only 2 boxes high, and it's only an estimate, of course, but a hive of this size, I'd pick there to be 35,000 bees in there.
35,000. How much honey are they going to produce in that one hive?
20 kilos.
20 kilos.
We hope so. But as it grows and we put boxes on and on, of course, the number of bees will increase as well.
Right. So there's also a lot of things circulating out there as well, too, as it relates to herbicides, pesticides. We already talked about glyphosate as well, but there are, every year, speaking to the beekeepers here on this visit, just shout out when you guys have a queen bee. Oh, we got one. Hold on. Pause on that, but we'll get back to herbicides and pesticides. Let's show you a queen bee. Okay. You're going to have to probably point to it. Let me just make sure that this is going to... Oh. Can you guys see it? I can't even see if they see it, but...
It's quite a black one.
Can you point to it again? Where are you? There we go. Oh, do you guys see it? Very cool. You guys just saw a queen bee. This is very exciting. Nice find. You get a manuka honey jar. Okay, so going back to pesticides, herbicides, all the sides that are issues. So a lot of beekeepers do this not only for weeds and things like that around, surrounding their landscapes, but also there's a bunch of different diseases that come with bees as well too. So instead of using chemicals, what these guys do is something really cool. And this is just bees in general, so it's not necessarily just New Zealand, although I imagine there's some diseases that are specific to New Zealand.
Yeah, some things we do get worse in other countries,
Right.
and things like that. And there's a few countries out there that the varroa mite hasn't made it to yet,
Okay.
which is the main one that hurts us here in New Zealand.
So it's called the varroa
Varroa
mite. And so instead of using any chemicals to sort of try to, avoid that destruction, rather, let's check out what you guys do instead to help with kind of keep that issue or challenge at bay. Whoa, the bees are freaking out.
So we put this cardboard strip in here.
So point to it.
This cardboard thing right here in the middle. I can pull it out.
Okay.
And this here is, instead of using plastic in our hives and chemicals like other beekeepers, we use this cardboard strip and we impregnate it with the oxalic acid and glycerin.
Okay. And so that helps with mitigate this situation.
Yeah, it does. It kills the varroa mite and keeps our hive healthy and alive.
Right. So these guys are the MVPs, the beekeepers. They check on it every day. And so I'm so happy to be a part of this experience, to just kind of, take a day in the life of a beekeeper and look at it from your guys' lens. So it was really special. And again, like I said, there's so much to learn. I'm going to put more out on my YouTube with a solid interview of just, discussing all things bees and learning more about it. So if you're interested, just subscribe to my newsletter and I'll tell you when that will drop and happen. So yeah, so if there's is there any more questions or? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I'll take you just on a little face, or what do you call, selfie version. These are your beekeepers at BeeNZ. Look how amazing this team is. Yes, and they're supporting you, they're supporting your health, and they're also just, really quality. And so if you guys are looking for really quality manuka, woo, that almost fell. Yeah, if you don't mind holding that a second. Really quality manuka honey. BeeNZ is the best manuka honeys that I've ever tasted out there too. So, and this is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about. I come to places and farms and I just see their process and I want to know more about it, because being intentional with who we support is really important. So anyways, we're going to pick a winner, not now, but we'll scroll through and just pick at random who's going to win honey from this specific hive. Now, mind you, it may take a couple of weeks, because that's what's special about it, is you're actually going to get direct honey from this hive. And I think that's maybe what is lost sometimes today in this world, is like the waiting period. Everything is so instant today, but like manuka itself is special, but like having something special come directly from this hive, which may not be manuka, which will send you one, but also please remind me of the Pahudakawa. You might get Pahudakawa, but we have to test it first, so it's a roll of the dice. But I'm very excited to bring that to you, and check out BeeNZ and just see the range of honeys that they offer. So super cool. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm out, and hopefully I don't get stung. Okay, thanks guys. Chat soon. Don't sting me. How do I... There,